Alright guys, welcome to another video, and I've been asked to make a video about how to use the Box2DMapObjectParser. So I actually intended to not make videos about my own things, because that's like promoting my own stuff to people who just didn't learn it another way, so they'll kind of be forced to use my things, and I actually didn't want to do that. But I've been asked 2 times, so I'll do it anyway. Yeah, so this is not any official or approved way to do this. It's just the stuff I wrote that you can use. You don't have to, nothing. However, the Box2DMapObjectParser does the following things. It loads things from your tiled maps and creates Box2D objects from them, as you can see here. Yeah, you collide with the ground and everything. Well, that's how how it is, what it does. So today we're going to create something like this here. And probably some dynamic objects on that. Let's get started. At first you need a tiled map, but actually at very first you need a screen to display that thing. So let's just go ahead and create a new class called, no, not like that, Box2DMapObjectParser. Oh yes, I love writing that word. Tutorial. And this is going to be a screen, not a C, whatever the fuck that is. Remove screen, yeah, like that, and move this to the left and create some basic stuff in it, like the world, the Box2D debug renderer, the orthogonal tiled map renderer, and a camera. Yeah. I want the show method over there, and we're just going to create all these things. World is a new world. Box2D renderer is a new Box2D debug renderer. Camera is a new orthographic camera, and the map renderer needs a map. So tiled map equals new tmx map loader dot as at first import, then dot load. The map is at maps tutorial.tmx, and then we can create the map renderer from the map. Okay, so that's the basic setup for the show method. For the render method we need gdx.gl.gl clear, gl.color buffer bit, and we need to render stuff. So we need the Box2D debug renderer, which is actually called Box2D renderer. So this one here, render world camera.combined. But first we want to render the map using the map renderer, and we need to set the map renderer's view to the camera. Alright, so you should already know about all this stuff. Tiled maps and Box2D, you can easily combine them, as you can see. So the camera's viewport width should be width divided by 25. Yes, this is going to result in a pretty big map, but we're going to take care of that. Camera.viewport height, yeah, height divided by 25. So I'm dividing them by 25 for Box2D, so it doesn't look all too small, because you remember Box2D handles stuff in meters. In height I want to dispose, and in dispose I want to dispose the world and the map renderer. Okay, so that's some very basic setup to actually load a map and render it. There's some Box2D things laying around in between this, but it doesn't matter because there's no Box2D objects or anything at all. And again, I forgot to step the world. So world.step 1 divided by 60f 8 and 3. Okay. Now let's actually create this map here, so we can put some, actually at first some tiles in there and some Box2D objects to actually load and parse and create in the world. So let's go ahead and create a new map. This is all the setup for my tile set, so it may be different for yours. Tiles, tiles.png, and this is all correct. This is a Pokemon tile set, so it's actually made for top down. So we'll have to use a little trick to get the sky like that. This is water, but who cares? And let's create a house on there like this. What's up? And some tree. Okay, so that's already a basic tile map without any Box2D specific objects in there. Let's save it as Box2DMapObjectParser tutorial, and we're done. Okay, so we could already load this and play it, even though it's not really interesting. Let's just do that. After Eclipse is done, because I think I told him to clean and build the wrong project. However, it is working. As you can see, we have the map rendered. There is no Box2D objects or anything in there yet, so let's go ahead and change that. We need to go into the map and create some other layer. At first, this one's going to be called tiles, and then let's create a new object layer called Box2D, or whatever name you want to give it, and create some chain shape. At first I want to have a chain shape around the whole map, because I don't know, I don't want objects to fall out of the world. Not really necessary at all. Then I want a chain shape on the ground, and I want some rectangles around the houses. Not like that, like that, and around the tree. Let's save this and go back into here, clean the project, run it, and as you can see, everything is just as before. Nothing happened. And if we disable the rendering of the map, we also see that there are no Box2D objects at all. You should see the the Box2D, like the chain shape that I put around the map, the bounds, should be visible here, but it's not. So why is that? The Box2DMapObjectParser does not know he has to parse these objects yet. He sees them, but he's like, oh, okay, that has nothing to do with me, let's ignore them. I implemented it like this because you might have other objects in your map, for example, spawn zones or enemies or whatever kind of things. So we have to set some properties to them. At first, let's go for the bounds of this thing, call it environment, and now we have 3 different types. The Box2DMapObjectParser decides what to create based on what you put in the type here. So this also works with other map editors, but it definitely has a property called type. So the type is going to be one of the following: body, which is pretty self-explanatory; fixture, self-explanatory as well; joint, self-explanatory as well; and object, which is not self-explanatory because that does not exist like that in Box2D. If you define something as object, it is a fixture and a body, so you don't have to create one map object for the body and then another map object to put the fixture on. That is just unnecessary. So we'll just say this is an object and it will create a body and a fixture for this thing. You don't have to have any other settings because this is going to be a static body, and the default is static body, so that's fine. You don't have to set like body type static body, because this is the default. Okay, so let's delete this thing and save. Then for the ground right here, let's call this ground, and we could just say this is an object again and we wouldn't have to do anything. But to actually teach you guys something, let's say this is a fixture, and this is going to be attached to the body, so we have to give the body property environment. And okay, so now we have this bounce here, which is an object, so we have one body, one fixture, and then we go for the ground here, and this is going to be another fixture, which is going to be attached or created on the bounce here. We could also do the same thing with the house, so house, fixture, and blah blah blah, but I'm just going to say object because I'm lazy, and tree object, and done. And we already have Box2D objects in our map. Now the Box2DMapObjectParser knows, okay, that's what the guy wants to pass. Let's clean the projects and load this. And what a surprise, they are still not there, because we didn't use the Box2DMapObjectParser in code yet. Pretty obvious. Let's do it. Box2DMapObjectParser parser equals a new Box2DMapObjectParser. It takes nothing in its constructor, but you can give it a unit scale, an aliases object, which I'm going to explain later, tile width, tile height, all kinds of stuff. You can see it well if you use it, but you don't have to give it anything. Then the parser has this load method, and you can give it a single map layer if you just want to pass specific layers, or just the whole map, and the world obviously, so he knows where to create these things in. The map is the tiled map that I create there. And what am I doing? Alright, and this already creates all the Box2D objects. So if I just, oops, yeah, I don't know what's this problem right now. It's always great to have exceptions in your tutorial. That always is like great. But if you have exceptions like this, there's this debug thing of the Box2DMapObjectParser, like sys.println, and then parser.get hierarchy, and you can give it the map, like, yeah, just like this, map. So let's print out the hierarchy, so what the Box2DMapObjectParser sees, what he can parse in this in this map. So there we go, into this thing, and it crashed again, but we have the hierarchy here, and we see what we did wrong. So environment, oh, we see we have a typo here. Environment, there is an N missing, because this is called environment. Yeah, so there's an N missing. Now we know that, and we can go back into the map and go into this object's settings here, and the body is environment, but it should be called environment. Okay, save this and clean the project, and now it should work. Yep, it does. You can't really see it, but there is this green line from the Box2DMapObject, from the Box2D debug renderer. So let's just disable the map rendering here, and you'll see there it is. This is the Box2D object. Now the first thing that you think, dude, this is way too big, I don't want to have it this big in my map. That's no problem, because we can set a unit scale to the Box2DMapObjectParser like this. Take a calculator, and we'll say the unit scale is 1 divided by 32. This number comes out of it, so 0.03125f, that was the number. And we'll save this, we'll load this again, and now it is actually sized correctly, but you can see it because the map is in the way. So there we go. This already looks pretty much like the map. This is just a Box2D object now. We are Box2D objects now. We are not rendering the map yet. You can see there's the bounce, the ground, the house, and the tree, but it's not rendered at that position because I disabled the rendering. And if I enable the rendering again, it's way too big. But no problem. The map renderer has a constructor that takes the unit scale as well, and that we can get from parser.getUnitScale. And now they have both the same unit scale and everything is sized correctly. In case you don't want to define the unit scale in your code, you can also do it in the map. So go into the map settings and set the unit scale property to whatever the value was that I just, yep, it was like .03125, and okay, save this, go back, close down all this stuff, clean the projects, start, and there we go. Yep, it now got the unit scale out of the map. You could also set the unit scale to separate layers, but if you used different unit scales in the layers, it would just, if you call parser.getUnitScale, it would give you the last unit scale used, so it would probably get out of sync with a map. But I don't really know a use case where you want to use different unit scales in the layers for Box2D. However, this is now already created and we have some static objects around there. Static objects are pretty boring. Let's go ahead and create dynamic objects. Right, so let's create a new like whatever here, like a rectangle, and this is like this great rectangle. We have to give it the settings here, the properties. This is going to be called box. Its type is going to be an object, because that's probably what's most commonly used in this Box2DMapObjectParser maps. Let's set some properties to it, because right now it would be defaulted to a static object just like the ground and the environment. So we're going to say its body type is a dynamic body, and we could also set like linear velocity, but then we have to say x or y. Let's say its linear velocity is minus, I don't know, 500, and its linear velocity y is 500, so it's probably going to be pushed right in that or in that edge, I don't know right now. And we have to give it a density, because otherwise the density is 0, and a 0 density object does not fall over. The density is going to be 2 or something, not 25, oh my god, 2. Okay, so now we have the box in there. Let's go back, clean the projects, and load this. And there we go. Yep, it was pushed right up there because of the linear velocity, and then it fell down, and there it is. Let's create some more objects in this map. For example, a circle. You cannot create ellipses because Box2D does not support ellipses, so that kind of makes sense that it doesn't work. But if you create such an ellipse that is exactly round, so it's basically a circle, that works because there's a circle shape in Box2D. So let's go on the settings here and say this is a circle, or just ball. Its type is object as well, and the body type is a dynamic body, and the density is 1. Okay, so there we go, we have another object. Let's try it out. there it is, it falls down. It doesn't have any restitution, so it doesn't jump up, but it's there. Actually, let's combine these two objects here to on one single body, but both with different fixtures. So let's say we want to attach this circle shape as a fixture of this box and not as a single object that can fly around. So in the Box2DMapObjectParser we would go ahead and set this object's type to fixture, and obviously we don't have to give it the body type then anymore. The density still has to be set, and we have to say which body is this fixture of. So body, and you can see the name of this body here is box, so the body is going to be called box. Then let's say OK, save this, and yeah, try it out. And yes, they are now both behaving like one body, because they are both fixtures of the box body. The body center is right there, and this thing is just attached to it. Let's actually do something more complicated and not this good supported in the Box2DMapObjectParser. Create a joint to, yeah, like have it hang down from the top. This is done the following way. You can create any object you want. You could even create like this, but that's kind of weird. So let's just create a chain shape that goes from there to there, and enable the grid again. And now we have to set its whole settings. Everything that this joint has to be set as setting. So let's say the name is joint, type is joint as well, and the joint type is a rope joint. The body A is environment. The body B is box, because that's what this thing is called. You can see it here. The max length is, let's count, 1 2 3 4 what shit 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. All right, the max length is 8. This is counted in tiles, okay. And now we just have to set the local anchor A, and of that one the x coordinate. Crap. Local anchor A x. Well, the local anchor A is local anchor of the body A. The body A is environment, and well, that is located down there. So from that, the local anchor would be I don't know, is it located down there? Depends on how I created the chain shape. Let's check out how I created the chain shape. Yep, I started in the bottom right. Yep, I started in the bottom left. So it would probably be we'd have to count, or we can also have a look down there. We see the coordinate that the mouse is currently at, and the coordinate of this here is 0. But remember that the tiled editor counts 0 as top, so it has a y down coordinate system, and down here y is 25, or just increasing in general. So this is the local anchor A in the Box2D coordinate system, which has a y up coordinate system, y up coordinate system. Yeah, I'm repeating myself, and I think you get it. So this map is 25 tiles high, and since this is at 0, this up here has to be at 25 for the local anchor. So the local anchor A, actually y, would be 25. Then the local anchor AX, well, that's pretty easy. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. You don't have to count every time. You could also place your mouse here and you see, oh, it's actually 8. So I already counted something incorrectly. 8. And the local anchor B, because we don't want it to be just centered in this box. We want it to be at that position there, even though it's not in the middle on the top, but whatever. Local anchor BX is, as you can see, on the x-axis just one tile. And local anchor by is on the y-axis. Well, the body's position is probably right here in the middle. I don't know. So that would be 1, 2, 3 up, if I just counted that correctly. But let's say it's 3. Alright, so these are all the properties that you have to set on such a joint in order for it to be created, hopefully. And there we go. Yep, it has been created. Now, why doesn't it collide anymore? Because the rope joints setting by default is that objects that are connected with a joint don't collide with each other. However, I think this is actually not really correct, because as you can see, it's going in the middle there. So we can see the body's center is, well, it's moving, but it's there in the corner of the box. So we'd have to count that differently from within here. It always depends on where you created this, this object at, and set the vertices. But anyway, since it was like up here or there, I don't know it anymore. We have to try it out. X is still Y, that's correct, but let's actually set it to 1.5 to get it in the middle. Well, that doesn't look like in the map, so let's keep it at Y. And at 1, and local entropy Y was not 3. Let's set it to 0 and see if that's better. As you can see, creating joints is not this easy, but maybe I'm going to change it in the future, maybe not. However, you can see it's now actually created correctly. Also, let's change the default behavior of the joint to actually have this collide connected. These are all the names by default. They are all the names that you would give them in code of the fields of the joint definition. So collide connected would be true, not tour, whatever that should be. True, and save. And this would also work out. But before I show you that it actually works, have a look at the Box2DMapObjectParser source, and you'll see that there is this inner class called aliases with a bunch of public strings, and you can edit anything, any name that you have to set in the tilemap editor. So if you were to create your own aliases here and pass them in the constructor, you can create your own aliases object equals new aliases, and there we go. Import it, and now you can set all the fields, like for example, what did we use? For example, you don't want these to be called body A and body B, but you want them to be called first body and body B would be second body. Now I set this to the aliases object and I put it in the constructor of the Box2DMapObjectParser. Now I have to edit this in the map, because body A is now called first body and body B is now called second body. And I say okay, save this, and there we go. It should actually work out. Well, oops, I forgot to update to clean the project. Now it should actually work out. yep, it's working out with different aliases names. What else is there to mention? Just one thing, and I'm already running out of time pretty much. So this won't last any longer. Let's just quickly create a concave object, because you know Box2D does not support concave objects at all. Oops, this is actually too concave. This is self-intersecting. I just meant a normal concave object, like for example this one here. Box2D would make something weird out of it and not what you want, because it's concave. So the Box2DMapObjectParser decomposes this into convex objects, which Box2D can actually display, and then creates fixtures for it and all attaches them to one thing. So this is a body type, dynamic body with a density of each of the fixtures. Then all the fixtures are going to have this density 1. Save, clean, run. Check it out. Yep, it's working. So as you can probably see right now, if it's visible on the recording, yeah, there are all these lines in here, so it's been decomposed into convex fixtures, shapes, whatever. Is there anything else to mention? Well, probably you could go ahead and say, I want to get all the bodies that have been created. This gives you an object map of the body's name and then the body, of all the fixtures and of all the joints. You can the get hierarchy, you know that one. Get tile width and get tile height and get unit scale. So that's what you can do with the Box2DMapObjectParser in code. Allows you to access pretty much everything. Anyway, thanks for your interest in the Box2DMapObjectParser. I hope this video didn't get too long. I think it did. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have some fun playing around with this. I'm going to see you in the next video, hopefully, or not, whatever. Thanks for watching.